Hi, everybody. This is the Hungry Math Professor here, and thank you for coming to my channel. Today, we're going to discuss um, Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. This is a fantastic book, one of my favorites of all time. I've read five books by Kurt Vonnegut, and this is still my favorite, and I highly recommend it. And there's so many reasons why I like this book. Let me just say it was published in 1969, and the book takes place mostly during World War II. So, there's some parts before and after World War II, but mostly through there, and follows a character named Billy Pilgrim. Now, what's interesting about this book, though, is the first chapter is told directly from Kurt Vonnegut. It's almost feels like a forward to a book, but it's the first chapter. And you're literally seeing inside Kurt's head, right? And he tells you that a lot of these things actually happen. And part of what he means by that is, Kurt Vonnegut was actually in the U.S. military and served during World War II. He was actually captured by the Germans during the Battle of the Bulge and was interned in Dresden. And then he actually survived the bombing of Dresden during World War II. And that's a big part of this book, that the character Billy Pilgrim also survives the bombing of Dresden. So, in some sense, a lot of this book feels like a complete direct reflection of Kurt Vonnegut's own experiences and feelings about war, and feelings about the the exact things that he lived through. So that makes it very interesting as well, on top of just the good writing. So this is known for being an anti-war novel, and there's no doubt about that. But I would just say, no matter how you feel about war, there's something here for you to reflect on and think about. And so, I highly recommend it. And if you've never read a Vonnegut before, there's just such a witty, sarcastic, and cynical tone to his writing. He uses very simple sentences, but that doesn't mean that the ideas are simple here, or that the writing is simple to understand. He loves to use these ellipses all over the place to kind of break things up in a fun, sort of hard to understand way sometimes. And he loves to draw just like these crude pictures. This is a distinctly Vonnegut style. In Slaughterhouse 5, there's only a few of these pictures, but in some of his other books, there's like, lots and lots of these like crude looking pictures. And he uses a lot of nonlinear storytelling, which I always love. So you have to kind of like piece together what's going on. You might have to piece together something from the first couple pages and, tie it together with something you read in the 150th page or something like that. And something really interesting that happens in this book in particular is that Billy Pilgrim becomes unstuck in time, which is the way that Kurt likes to say it. This also occurs in some of his other books. And throughout the book, it's hard to tell sometimes. So when he gets unstuck in time, he's sort of having these delusions, or he is having delusions. But sometimes it's not easy to tell when the main character is having delusions and when he's experiencing the actual real life, right? And I think this again is to portray the absurdity of war. you know, um, when a human being lives through bombings of cities and all this crazy stuff happening around them, it's not surprising that they lose track of what's real, right? And so Kurt Vonnegut, in this sort of brilliant way, is making us lose track of what's real in the book. And that's like a little subtle way of giving us some indication of what this might feel like as a human being. Um, and it makes the story really interesting to think about and to piece together. Another like theme that I really enjoyed is he says this phrase "so it goes" so often in the book. And oftentimes when he says the phrase "so it goes," it follows some really dark thing that just happened, right? Someone just died for some arbitrary reason around the main character, and he'll tell you that, and then he'll say, "So it goes," right? It's this very dismissive way of trying to deal with all this dark stuff that's happening around you in war. You don't know how to deal with it as a human being, so you have to just come up with a coping mechanism, just dismiss it. So it goes. Like, I'm just used to this now, right? He's lived through so much dark stuff all around him that he can somehow just dismiss it so easily like that. But at the same time, all of that's clearly affecting him. You can dismiss it all he wants, but it's clearly um, making a big impact on him through becoming unstuck in time and having these delusions. And again, this just emphasizes the meaninglessness and the absurdity of war. Especially as a human being and an individual, sort of having to sort of sort through and figure out what's going on. So this book is in 200 pages. It's just it's chock full of such great storytelling. It's going to make you reflect on so many important things, and it's so interesting to try to piece together what Vonnegut is saying. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you at another discussion.